9 podcasts.
And so I know when I take one of these calls, it's going to be an hour-long chat. Again, this sounds cooked, but who has an hour? Who honestly and truly has an hour to sit and have a phone call? Let's just regularly text.
Try before you die.
I like that song. It's very catchy, isn't it?
Very repetitive.
I'm going to get straight into this week's try because I'm highly, highly, highly agitated.
Do you know what's interesting? And we both said it at different times throughout the preparation process. I cannot believe how much this triggered us, this try this week, and how much came out when we were answering Jen, our producer's questions that she put to us. So the try this week is no texting, but more specifically and annoying than that, we're trying to ditch the written word and communicate via phone call only where possible.
So the reason this came about is because that we both absolutely on every level hate calling people and hate answering calls. I would rather give or receive a text any day of the week. I knew that this was going to be a incredible challenge for us, given particularly our lifestyles. So like work, busy life, social,
Millennials.
I currently avoid calling at all costs. I will text first pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And I very rarely answer calls. Particularly not from numbers that I do not know.
Oh, God, no.
You know how those ones pop up from like New Zealand?
Oh,
and,
private
like,
numbers.
weird-
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're lost. I ain't ever answering a private number.
Although the only place that I will answer a no number or a weird number is at work because often I work for a production company and, you know, we often have freelancers calling us and that kind of thing. Even then, I hate it, but I will do it because
and
it is my job.
why are you calling off a private number? I mean, my bosses...
Well, no, not even a private number though, but just a number I don't know. I will make calls that I know are going to be quick and easy. So like to you, if I just need to ask you a quick something, to my family, whatever. I've never used voice notes in my life, and it is my dream come true to make a call that I don't want to make and it goes to voicemail.
This was probably up there with one of the most dreaded tries
absolutely.
that we've ever done. I knew it was going to irk and inconvenience me greatly.
Yep.
So I went in with a negative
Same.
mindset and I only went to shit from there. So I've found myself, like you, in a place where I've completely shut myself off from phone calls.
Yeah.
When you work from home mostly and not for one sole employer, because when I was back in my personal assistant days with a full-time boss, you'd have to answer your phone. But now that I sort of work for myself in that I'm a freelancer for many different workplaces, I can sort of pick and choose when I answer and what I answer. So, but I do think working from home a lot, it's dangerous to limit human interaction
that's a
too
good
much,
point.
to be honest. And I really have managed to shut myself off from the outside world, I realised.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. Didn't think about it.
And I do get in my head a lot. I am spending a lot of time with myself, and I really like spending time just with myself. Don't get me wrong, but you very much become antisocial.
Oh, God, yeah.
I am also at the point where phone calls signify bad news to me. So if Dad calls more than once, oh my God. If I see Dad's name come up and then he rings again and he doesn't think as well, it won't ever be bad news. But to me, because Dad doesn't, he likes to call, but we tell him don't call because it scares us.
But no, we specifically say don't call us during like work hours because if you're calling us during work hours, we know that there's something wrong. So then we are going to automatically think there's something wrong. So when he does call, we're like, oh my God, something's wrong. But then it never is. But you just said before, when you get a call, it signifies bad news, but that's not the case.
Well, for me, I link it back to 2 horrific phone calls, and they were both when our grandpas died, right?
Yeah, that's twice out of all the phone calls you've ever gotten.
But I just envisage every phone call that comes through, as particularly from our family members, particularly during work hours, and often they'll call and they don't think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it now? It's mum, it's dad, it's grandma.
Yeah.
It's a psychological issue that I've genuinely had to
Well,
work
no, I
on
definitely
with my
feel
psychologist.
that too. Whenever they ring, I'm like, oh my God, is it bad? But I don't associate every single phone call I ever get with death.
But I have literal panic attacks. If I can sort of compartmentalize in terms of like, okay, it's a private number, so, you know, let's ignore that. No worries. If it's, you know, a weird overseas number, I can ignore that. No worries. But a family member calling during a work day, it just sends my heart
Same.
palpitations through the absolute roof. And it's at the point now where Mum will, if she calls me during the day, which she knows I don't like, she'll have to say, "Don't worry, nothing's wrong," the minute that I pick up the phone. Or I'm so anxious about it.
Or text first to be like,
Yes.
I'm calling you, everything's fine, but I'm going to call you about this or whatever.
But then sometimes she forgets that as well. So I'll pick up the phone and she won't say that. And I'm like, here it is. My heart will sink, my stomach will drop, and I'll say, here it is. Here's the moment I've been dreading my entire life. You can't live with it like that.
I know.
You can't live in fear like that, but I do. So that's what calls represent to me. Just those two bad experiences.
Yeah. Is there anything about your phone habits that you wish you could change?
I wish I wasn't so anxious about phone calls.
See, I don't care that I don't call. It doesn't suit my lifestyle and the way that I like to conduct myself. Like I definitely wish I could be in general on my phone less. I don't check my screen time because I just know it's going to make me feel sick if I see how much time I spend on my phone.
Ignorance is bliss.
And
Angel.
I don't want to face it. But the difficult thing for us is a lot of our job is doing social media stuff. And, we've been told to be sort of successful or whatever, you have to be consistent. You have to be posting things every single day. So it's actually really difficult for us to get away from our phones. But I do wish I could be more present in the moment. Because I feel like for us, anywhere we are, we're like, oh, content. And we're never truly present.
I also just find calls really ineffective. I think they're time wasters. Even though it might take you longer to write a text, often if someone calls me and I end up answering it or calling back, I'll say, can you just put that in an email? Or can you just put that in a text? What a waste of time this phone call has been. I can also express myself so much better via the written word, and you can take more time to think about what you want to say. And I'm a very good writer. So it really works to my benefit, you know?
Yeah, well, I agree. Going back to that screen time just quickly, even when I'm not using my phone for our job though, I was thinking about what I use it for, and we're listening or editing our podcast. I listen to music when I'm at the gym. If I'm out for a walk, I might listen to a podcast. I sometimes, even when I'm in the shower, put a show on outside of the shower on my phone and watch it while I'm in the shower. I play Wordle and games like that. I have an app which has my workouts and my food and stuff on there. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at other apps. So I genuinely feel like my whole life is on my phone. And if I forget my phone or I don't have it with me, I have the highest anxiety. Do you?
Oh, my God. If I lost the data on my phone or something happened with my phone, I do not know how. This is so dramatic. So how do you go on having lost all that data?
I truly don't know.
Truly and honestly, that is so dramatic. And, our ancestors would be dry reaching. But that it's like a limb at this point.
It is.
Lib, my biggest thing on screen time is when I'm going to sleep, sometimes have the crime channel on my Foxtel app. So
and you go to sleep to it.
Well, do you want to just be honest about your screen time? Look at it from the past week.
I really don't want to. I don't know that I want to face it.
This can't be right. I've got it in front of me now. This truly can't be right. That from the last week, I used Instagram 34 hours and 5 minutes. That can't be right,
God,
can
that's
it?
more than me. What's your last week's average screen
time?
Can't
tell you because I can't tell you because I leave Foxtel on when I'm falling asleep sometimes on my phone. I can't tell you.
You got to share. Just share it.
It says daily average 16 hours and 10 minutes, but that's because I leave.
Oh my God, so sorry.
No, that's
if
not
you're
right.
Sleeping 8 hours, you literally, there's not a second that you're off your phone.
No, because it says that Foxtel app is active 29 hours a week.
What is wrong with you?
But my notes, I'm on at 23 hours and 42 minutes. My messages, 23 hours and 8 minutes. Safari, 22 hours. Mail, 22 hours.
Get a life, sis. Seriously.
Now, it's funny. Phone calls, 8 hours and 4 minutes. That'd be when we're FaceTiming our dog back in Adelaide.
So 16 hours. So I'm actually
that's
surprised.
Foxtel. Sorry, that's Foxtel. We can't quantify that properly.
That's actually highly disturbing, and you need to go and get yourself a life.
Well, it's Foxtel. If I cross that out, it's much more palatable.
Oh, okay. So I could say the same thing about, my gym app.
Go. What's yours?
Mine's 10 hours and 48 minutes. I'm quite pleased with myself.
10 hours daily average. Well,
daily
actually, no,
average.
you should be ashamed of yourself because if I took out Foxtel, it would be maybe an hour a day. That's a
Well,
lie. That's a lie.
You should be, okay, well, if that's the case, you should be ashamed of yourself because you're not doing enough work. I'm doing all the work.
No, well, I'm
Cutting
just,
our
it's on,
socials
excuse
and
you,
doing all
it's,
that.
Well, yeah, it's on overnight is where I'm racking up the hours.
That is
I can't.
so
I
bad.
need to stop making excuses. That's vulgar.
Can people let us know what screen time they have to make us feel better and make sure that it's worse than
filth.
ours?
That's utter filth.
Surely people don't get away with, there's no one that has 2 hours or anything like that,
Well,
surely.
people who have shift work, like for example, nurses or doctors, like surely they aren't on their phones for that much. Well, do you know what else I love? I love with text now that you can edit them as well.
Yeah,
so there's so many
that's key.
features that allow you to control what your output. And I just feel like calls, you can't control your output properly. Oh, can we talk for a minute about voice notes? Voice notes may be worse than calls.
I hate voice notes. There's no reason for them. And I say that, but I get why people do it because it's convenient for them to just talk into their phone and say whatever they're thinking. But for me, for as a receiver, it is so highly annoying because not only do you have to be in like a quiet place to listen to it, but you also then forget, if you can't respond straight away, you also sort of forget what they've said and like then I can't be bothered listening to it again, so I'll just ignore it.
You often don't even listen to
I don't even
them.
listen to it.
So when I see a voice note come in, I get a shudder. I get a
Same.
full body shudder.
I hate
I
it.
think it is the most selfish thing because what it is someone going, I can't be bothered calling you, but also I can't be bothered texting you. So I'm going to really inconvenience you here and sit here and talk into my phone and you're going to have to listen to it. And people who send us voice notes know that we text back.
Yeah.
So they get the best of both worlds. They can just talk into their phone and get a text back
Yeah.
from us. Shame on you all.
But
I
also-
know I'm selfish, but you're more selfish.
But I was going to
Sorry.
say, but people probably think that by us not calling it selfish, so they're probably calling us selfish too.
I don't even know how to do a voice note. That.
I actually don't think I do. I've never, ever, ever done one. And I will never, well, never say never, but I would hope I would never do one.
What I also love about text and email is that you have a written record of things. So I'll wonder sometimes whether you've paid half the internet bill which comes out of my account. And I can just type in keyword internet into the top of my messages and up it comes. Gorgeous, effective. If you don't have that trail, you're just lost. So let's just put it all in words. I also don't mind a WhatsApp. I prefer text. It's more immediate and WhatsApp can build up. I will say though, I'm on lots of different WhatsApp groups with people that are overseas and stuff. And you do that so that I guess, I don't know, someone can message you in Canada at a certain time and then you can read it when you're available. And cheaper.
Give the information to everyone in one go rather than having individual
Well, why can't you
texts
just do
to
that
everyone?
in group texts? I think it's cheaper on WhatsApp,
Oh, yeah,
isn't it?
sorry. You're talking about that actually specifically. Yeah.
So the only disadvantage of a group scenario is that if you don't stay on top of them, those group messages, you'll get that red bubble of hundreds of unread messages, and that really throws me and stresses me out. So whilst I think it's a wonderful development that we have these group chat facilities, it also can be overwhelming.
Who do you reckon you contact the most day by day?
You.
Same. I was like, I would literally probably call and text you the most. Like we call each other because we know it's going to be quick and easy and convenient, but then we text each other too because it's just
And
quick.
outside of that, it's probably our family and then my lockdown lovers group, which is my group of girlfriends, close group of girlfriends. That's on WhatsApp.
What was it called before lockdown?
Can't remember. So we all lived in Melbourne at the time. We're all spread across the nation and the world now. But yeah, that was created in lockdown and that's what we're called, the lockdown lovers. But yeah, those red bubbles will come up because we live in different places now. So over 24 hours, you can build up with hundreds and hundreds of messages on those things.
Do you have anyone, a friend or anything that always calls?
Yeah, I do. And I get quite agitated.
Same. Well, I hate to say this, but he would probably know it. But my boss and also another colleague at work, they love a phone call.
Oh, my God.
So, and I get it. They're on the road. They're sort of busy. So for them, I feel like they just want to tick it off. They want to have that chat and they don't want to sit and spend time sending a text message. So I understand it, but I
And as
hate
your
it.
boss,
You have to always answer.
as your boss, they have the right to communicate however they want. And you have to oblige them.
Yes. And I also feel like often our grandma will call when we send a text. And
God love her.
because she would obviously know if we're sending a text, she probably thinks, oh, we're free.
Yeah,
and
we're
then
on our
often
phone.
We're not free.
No, that's the very big misunderstanding with old
Yes.
people. It doesn't mean I'm free because I've sent you a text. And she will
Yes.
never quite fully fathom that, and we've tried to get her to understand. God love her. She's very tech savvy for her age, and I really appreciate how she tries to text
oh my God,
us. But
same.
apart from, I mean, scam artists are the biggest one that will call me, scam artists. And our grandma, as you said, and I get it because it's a lot easier for them to call dad.
Oh, dad calls a lot.
And what annoys me is he'll also send texts. And so we'll text back, but he will never text back.
But then he goes, like he texted the other day, and I was having a little nap because I was so tired. I hadn't slept the night before. He sends me a message saying, how are you, Lib? And I obviously didn't reply because I was napping. An hour later, he rings Eliza and says, is Lib all right? Like, what's she doing? I'm like, give me a second to respond. But then I'm also like, I respond to you straight away and then you never respond.
Yeah,
so where's the fairness here?
The double standards.
Double
it's ridiculous.
standards.
Also, trying to FaceTime our family is probably one of the most painful things. Now, I don't like calls, but I need to see our dog in Adelaide. We adore our dog, and we
rarely
want to see her.
the dog. You see the ceiling, you see Dad's double chin.
And what about when we called him the other day and there was so much, I don't know what was on his screen. I don't know whether it was spit. I don't know whether it was dirty Butterfingers.
It was like it had been smeared with Vaseline. Is what it was like.
And when he's like, I've just cleaned it. Is that better? And we're like, it's actually worse. It's like we're trying to see you through clouds.
But to the point where I said, I'm so sorry. I can't talk to you through this film anymore.
No, we had to go.
So we had to go. And I'm like, I can't speak to you again until you clean that. So when you show me proof that you've cleaned it, I can speak again.
Yeah, they just cannot for the life of them get the angle right on anything. So we'll ring to see the dog and then we'll end up seeing the ceiling and we're like, okay, bye. I'm not doing this again. But a couple of my mum friends are big callers.
Yeah, because again, they don't have like...
So again, I get it. They have minimal time, and when they're running errands or on the school drop off or whatever, they can get in the car and ring a ding ding and have a quick chat. But what they don't understand is that is truly the most inconvenient situation for me. So it's normally during a work day, during work hours, when I'm trying to get ready for work, when I'm trying to make dinner, something like that. And I know I sound selfish because they're mums and their life is tough, but I need you to understand that I don't like calls and I'm just not going to have calls with you, because the other thing as well is that Jen's laughing. I sound like an arsehole. But the other thing is, I'm so sorry, but these friends as well are often based interstate, okay? And so I know when I take one of these calls, it's going to be an hour-long chat. Again, this sounds cooked, but who has an hour? Who honestly and truly has an hour to sit and have a phone call? Let's just regularly text.
Well, I'm right there with you, sis, because I will often ignore a phone call, even if I'm not busy, because I need to psychologically get ready for that conversation.
Yes, Lib, yes.
So there are some friends that I'm like, I know this chat is going to be over an hour and I don't have it in me.
No.
The amount of times that we are in the car and you'll be like, oh, should we just call so-and-so? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm not in the mindset to do it.
That sounds like I like calls. I don't like calls.
No, but this is
if
like
we're in a long
nipping
journey,
things in the bud.
If we're on a long journey and I'm like, who do we need to call?
Yes.
Let's just get in the zone, get it done. And let's just have a strong coffee and maybe even take a Xanax and just get
not
the
while
calls
you're driving,
out.
though. We certainly don't do that.
But do you know what I mean? So like, that's how I find them so painful. Tell you what else with my mum friends. Oh God, please don't come at me. But it's just like, what is the point of us even having this phone call? Because your kids are screaming in the background.
Yes.
You're not listening to me. And the amount of times you will have to stop while they wrangle their child and come back. Let's just catch up in real life, or let's just text. And I know you don't have time to text. I know that you have so many more important things, because you honestly do. I don't have important things going on. I get it, but it just doesn't work for me. So the only way we can maintain this friendship is if we meet middle of the road somehow, and that is by catching up in real life when we can, or texting. That's just it. That's my compromise.
Can we also acknowledge how anxiety-inducing it is when you're expecting a call that you know you don't want to answer, or that you know is going to be so annoying, or that you like have to answer? Like, once again, there's like work calls like that where I just know, I know this person is just going to chew my ear off, or I know it's going to be something that I'm not going to know the answer to, or I'm going to look like a dick or whatever.
But this is how easy our lives are that we get stressed over this stuff. These are our biggest issues, taking a phone call.
But Eliza, can I tell you, there's a name for this.
Stop.
There's telephobia, is the fear of making or answering
I've got it.
phone calls.
I've got it.
I've truly got it too.
I dread it more than anything.
I massively procrastinate when I know I have to make a phone call as well. So I can sit at work and be like, I can get an answer to this question if I just make this phone call, and I will put it off for as long as humanly possible. But I remember reading somewhere, it was like the anticipation is always so much worse
Yeah.
in your head than what the real thing's actually going to be. So you've literally just got to be like, okay, not going to make the phone call, just do it, just do it.
Don't
But
think
like,
about it.
that is so hard.
Oh, I just don't even think we need phone calls anymore. Like, I just reckon let's eradicate them. And I mean, they're good for emergencies, aren't they? That's the only thing, like getting a quick answer on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And work shoots that you do, you need to be able to make phone calls. Where's such and such,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So they do serve a purpose. Are you going to add more scientific stuff?
No, that's
Okay.
all for the moment.
So-
I've got some more down the track.
Okay. So I also, even though I do occasionally FaceTime to see the dog, I don't like FaceTimes. And people who FaceTime, are you kidding? I look like asshole.
Yeah.
95% of the time, especially because I work from home. Don't bother.
Oh, I will not answer a FaceTime unless you've planned a FaceTime call with
Oh,
me
God,
and
yeah.
texted me
Oh,
about
God,
it
yeah.
beforehand.
What about, remember Viber?
Oh, yeah.
That could still be around. Dad used to love Viber, I think, because
That was
it was
just
free.
like a free messaging
Yeah,
service,
I think
wasn't it?
WhatsApp's replaced
Yeah.
that. I hate doing Zooms. I hate WebEx. I hate Teams meeting shit. Whenever anyone wants to have a video call, oh God, and we're all about those these days post-COVID, aren't we? And what about Skype? Remember Skype?
Oh, Skype.
God,
Wowee.
kill me. Is that still rocking around Skype?
Don't reckon. I will often use Do Not Disturb as well in the day. Like
Do
if
you?
I don't want to answer calls or something, I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb, knowing that it goes straight to voicemail, and then I can assess the voicemail and work out how I want to respond. When I go to bed, I always put my phone on the sleep version of Do Not Disturb and put my
you?
phone on the ground, but I have exceptions to that. Only family members. So if I've got like you, mum, dad, Scarlett, that if you called, I would actually get it, because I know that if I have it on, it will vibrate and it'll wake me up, and I just can't.
I can't possibly deal with that stress of being on Do Not Disturb overnight, because what if something happens? I have my phone on loud.
But I just said to you, calls come
What
through
if the
from my
hospital
family.
calls? What if the hospital calls saying we've got your dad here
Well,
and you need to get on a plane?
They need to get.
Sorry, my phone is on loud through the night. Yep,
Oh
loud.
my God.
No, my phone is always on loud. The only time I put it on Do Not Disturb is when we do these podcast records, but I have the screen staring at me just in case.
Do you know what? That's probably because you go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at 4 a.m. So it's only a 2-hour window that you need to have it on loud for.
Do you know what? And during the night when I go to the toilet, I always check my phone.
Do you?
Always.
I never
Sometimes
do.
I'll check social media. I check WhatsApp. I check calls. I check messages. It's a real anxiety thing, I think. It's a problem. But on airplanes, I hate going on airplanes too, because I'm like, I'm non-contactable here.
I love that. It's the literally only time in your whole life that you don't actually access your phone and your Wi-Fi.
And our hot mat Pilates class, I don't like not having my phone in there. You physically can't have your phone, but sometimes I'll wear my watch just so I can have those notifications on me and close by. Oh God.
I mean, I do always check it's the first thing I do in the morning, and it's the last thing I do at night is check my phone, which I hate myself for. It's such a bad habit. And I also know that it affects my sleep looking at my phone.
You need to ditch the screen time before bed. There are facts and figures around how much better your sleep is if you stop like an hour or two out, as if we're doing that. Sorry.
Going back to the group chats that you were talking about before, you kind of get around them because you're up later than me and whatever. Because I find that most of the group chats happen at night, and I go to bed early. So I'm part of so many chats. Even the combination of our family as a group chat. So we've literally got every combination that you could have. So like whole family, just the girls, just the daughters and dad, the daughters and mum, the three sisters, me, Eliza and dad, me, Eliza and mum, Scarlett and Eliza and dad, Scarlett and Eliza. Like, I won't go on. You get the gist. And truly and honestly.
It's a lot. And also as well, which I know every single person I know, friend, family or foe, hates, that I will not leave a message unreplied. So if I haven't had time during a podcast record to reply to you, I'll then sit down at night and reply to every single message.
Oh, but no. It's not just at night. She might do it a week later.
Yeah, a week later.
And so she will go back through every message, and it might be literally 2,000 messages earlier.
Yep.
And she'll press reply and reply to that. And I'm like, so then I get 15,000 messages. And I'm like, what was this even to do with?
And
I
love that feature where you can now reply to specific messages.
That's what I'm
where
saying.
You can drag it and say, I'm replying to this.
So where a week ago
it's a
you're
gift.
replying to something, I hate it. And then you get agitated with me when I don't reply to stuff. But I'm
I
like,
hate it.
when I'm waking up in the morning to 200 group messages, sometimes I don't even read it because
No.
I'm like, I cannot
I find
be
that
bothered.
so rude. I find that so rude.
I just can't be bothered.
I will get so annoyed with people when they don't address what I've said that I will often a week later drag out their message and say, did you see this?
Or do the question mark. You know,
Question
you can
mark.
just do the question mark and it brings up a notification.
Sorry, but it's on you. You have a duty, like I have a duty, which I fulfill, to respond to messages. I will never leave anything unresponded to ever.
Oh, I find
Ever.
that so annoying.
Hey, so video calling and chatting and group shit got to such a bad level during COVID that that's what impacted my mental health most. Must be nice for that to have been the biggest issue. But I hated it so much that I stopped being involved in the group stuff. There was this, remember they do, group virtual trivia nights and stuff every Friday night or
kill
whatever,
me.
and you
I'd rather
grab a
die.
drink or you do group cooking nights or you do group, cocktail making. I just started declining.
Same.
And I would be honest about it because you can't say I'm busy because you're locked in your house.
Yeah.
I would just say I'm just not doing this. I
Yeah.
hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Yeah.
And I spoke more to my friends. I spoke to my friends 25,000 times a week, and I would normally speak to them once a year.
Yeah. I know.
Our lockdown in Melbourne was so strict, and where the other parts of the world were opening up, Melbourne wasn't. So we would become so highly agitated, and everyone else was enjoying life again, and we weren't. So I'd be like, I'm sorry, I truly must distance myself from you. Remember the House Party app?
Oh.
So that's gone now, but what House Party app was, it was a social networking service known for its group video chat functionality, but where it was different was it allowed users to connect with friends for live video conversations, but also included features like mini games. So the app saw a surge in popularity during COVID due to its ability to facilitate virtual social interaction, but it was eventually discontinued because I think it just became a bit invalid and stuff afterwards because you just don't want to play games while you're Zooming or whatever now. So I had the most harrowing, horrific story. So some people would start just during the day because they just assumed no one was sort of working. But I was very lucky in that I was still working from home during COVID. And so they just start midday house party chats and just see who could join. And I would often be working or whatever and accidentally accept because they would come up so suddenly and I'd be typing an email on my phone. There was one situation because I use my phone on the shitter but also in the shower. And so there would be times where I'd be standing in the shower because I take my phone in the shower and I'd be replying to an email. So there's this one, there was this one time where I was in the shower, stark nakodio, and I was typing an email and a house party came up so quickly I didn't notice and I accepted it. And I am stark as, and I threw it up to the ceiling so quickly, but you can hear running water. And I eventually was able to hang up and my friend was like, what was going on? Why was there running water? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was just finishing up the toilet and my boss was calling at the same time. I don't know if that person ever knew what was going on, but I was naked and I answered their call naked.
I think the more disturbing thing about that is that you take your phone into the shower. Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I don't do 16 hours screen time. You do because you take your phone into the shower.
Yeah, and it's attached to me. I get annoyed when we call mum and she answers on her phone, on her watch.
Yeah, same.
And you can't hear her properly. And we're like, and our grandma as well. I'm like, Granny, you could have a fall. You should
but
strap
they
your
don't have
phone
it connected to them.
You should have your phone strapped to your head. Okay, that was a real impassioned scenario, but
wow.
I'm so glad House Party has fallen by the wayside because so many dangerous things almost happened to me during COVID.
I'll tell you why I prefer texting over calling.
Right?
I like getting things in writing.
Yes.
So the amount of times I look things up, like you said before, but also just having something there as like, it sounds awful, but proof of something. Because you will often be like, nah, you said that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, nah, didn't you? Like, I've got it right here.
Yep.
I feel like life is busy. I don't have time. I don't like the thought of disturbing other people in their lives by calling them. So I'd rather text first. And then if it's, desperate that you have to call, then I'll say, can I call you? There's people I just wouldn't feel comfortable calling or who I would think they would think it's weird. Now, when I started journalism and I worked in newspapers, I had to call people out of the blue to see if they wanted their home featured in a home magazine and then all the supplies, etc. associated. And I hated every minute. There is nothing worse
No.
than cold calling.
Nah.
And then when I worked at another newspaper where it was just general news. I had to call councils. I had to call politicians, random cold calls. It's the most intimidating,
Horrific.
uncomfortable thing. But then I worked at SACA, which is the South Australian Cricket Association, where my job was to make outbound calls for people to renew their memberships. So my whole job all
was
day,
like a call
every day
centre.
was like a call centre. Again, hated it. I also find it quite uncomfortable. I don't like being around people when I call because the pressure of saying the right thing is also so much higher. And I don't want people judging me on what I say. So particularly a voicemail. Oh my God, if I'm sitting at work and I call someone and I have to leave a voicemail, I get really panicked and I get flustered, and you have limited time and I want to make sure I get everything across and I want to make sure I say the right thing. So I get really quite anxious about the actual physical, point of making a phone call. Like I said before, I have to physically prepare myself for certain phone calls. There are friendships I know are just going to take 2 hours. I don't have it in me. And also the biggest thing, you can't use like emojis and GIFs and stuff when you're calling someone. My God.
You can send pictures. You can just do so much more.
Yeah.
For me, it's, as I said, I want everything recorded. I can express myself better via the written word, and it's just quicker and easier.
Yeah.
So, what should we get to, like how we coped?
First of all, can I just flag, I Googled, there are 9 personality characteristics that psychology say are commonly associated with people who prefer texting to calling. We tick every one of these boxes.
Really?
So the first one is you value emotional control. So you've got more time to regulate emotions.
Yes.
Phone calls demand immediate emotional reactions.
Yes.
Yep. You'll be saying that to every single one of the things I'm about to read. You're a reflective thinker. So it appeals to people who prefer to reflect before they respond. So it suits people with introspective and analytical personalities, those who experience discomfort with spontaneous real-time interactions often, which is us. You're conflict avoidant. Well, that's me. So texting allows you to keep things more neutral and less confrontational. You're sensitive to social cues and overwhelmed by them at times. So people are highly sensitive to signals. So you can manage your tone of voice, your pacing, your interruptions, etc. Texting reduces that kind of noise of all of that. You're independent and autonomous. So you value autonomy in your life, lets you respond on your own schedule and keeps you in control of your time. Number 6, you're a thoughtful communicator. So someone who values clarity and precision. You reread texts before sending and phrase something to capture what you really mean. You experience social anxiety, even mildly, so uneasy in social situations, especially unstructured phone calls. Spontaneity of calling can be intimidating and you worry about saying the wrong thing. And the last 2, you're digitally fluent, so texting may just feel more natural. It's a primary source of communication. And you respect boundaries and you want yours respected too.
Yes.
So a phone call demands your attention immediately, whereas a text gently knocks on the door and waits for you to open it. Okay, so I was going to respond to all texts with calls, answer all calls that come in. But then in terms of DMs on social media, we obviously have a community of people that we don't know. So if anyone DMs us from that group of, people that we don't know, we're just going to reply with DMs. But if there's people that we know that DM us, then we have to respond to them with a phone call, which is highly annoying.
Well, it's highly annoying for us, and it's highly annoying for
them.
90% of the community who don't like calls either. So you'll find these random people who really like a call, like your boss and like a couple of my mum friends. But besides that, everyone hates it like us. And all this is done has shown people that now we want calls. So it's just enabled more calls.
What do you mean that now we want calls?
Well, like we've started calling because we called our grandma, we called our dad. We've tried to train everyone to not call us, and then we suddenly started calling. And so now what's going to happen is it's enabled the callers.
I'll tell you the worst thing though is when you text someone and they call you straight away, so you almost sort of don't have an excuse not to answer because they know you're on your phone and your phone is right there next to you, but then you don't answer.
Oh, the worst people are those that you'll send, an email or a text to, and they'll call straight away. And then I'll have to say, can you just text or email me? And then so many times I've been glad for a chain or a record in words, because often I'll be like, please refer to below where you agreed to this rate or you agreed to this time and date. And I'm 99.9% of the time right.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be able to prove myself
100%.
right.
I agree with that. Now, I'm not going to lie. Over the first couple of days, I did this 90% of the time. The occasions I couldn't was if, say, something was super urgent and I couldn't get onto someone by a call and I just needed to get the point across, and I would just text. Or if I was in a meeting or someone specifically requested a text message, then I would do that.
Yes.
Group messages. I have, as I said before, that many group messages. I'm not going to individually call every single person in that group.
No.
So there's some that have 10 people in it. So if I need to get something across, I'm not calling 10 of them. So I'm either not responding in the group or I'm responding, and unfortunately I'm just not making phone calls. There was also occasions where I would receive, a confirmation of an appointment
Yes, and you have to say
that
yes.
you can only do the yes or no
Yes.
to. So like my physio and stuff. Again, I ain't calling you when I can just respond with a why. There's just no way.
No.
Were there any occasions that
Well,
how did you sort of go?
Yeah, okay. So my friend Danny, for example, she messaged me about 11 p.m. at night saying, thank you so much for that beautiful 40th gift. I've just opened it up. I got home late tonight. I wasn't going to ring her. She's got a newborn baby and say, no worries.
Yeah.
But then also I didn't want to leave it for a week unanswered. So
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, I'm saying no worries.
Yeah.
You deserve it. Happy birthday. That's just absolute ludicrousness.
Because that's the thing, though. I actually thought to myself, maybe I just don't respond to anyone so I don't have to call or text. So I'm not cheating, but I'm also not really doing it.
But there were also things like, emails. You can't suddenly pick up the phone, to our, for example, manager. We have a lady that helps us with certain opportunities. You can't pick up the phone to every email she sends and verbally agree to something or whatever, because she actually needs things in writing.
Yeah.
Professionally, you have to put
Or
things in writing.
Can you have a look at this contract and send me back your feedback in, what do you call it when you do the
edits and
edit
stuff?
Yeah.
Like we
Shit
had to
that.
be able to do that in writing. Professionally, it's really difficult to do stuff via call. So bugger that shit. But what about because we did really try at certain moments. And so there was a time where we had a group message with our manager and we were like, look, let's just call her in this scenario rather than text her back. We may as well catch up with her verbally.
Yeah.
And you called the wrong Michelle.
I called the wrong. Or sorry, but that is your fault though, because for some weird reason, when we were on the block, we gave our phones over, and then when we got our personal phones back again, all the numbers from your phone carried
They all
over into my
synced.
phone. So I've got your number. All your numbers in my phone as they're written. And so you worked with a lady that you called Michelle Manager, and now our manager is called Michelle. So they're both called Michelle Manager.
It's very confusing, but we would have had our group message at the top and you could have easily just written back.
yes.
But instead we actually had to get her on the phone, and we have a couple of Michelle Managers. So it was very, and again, then that waste of time explaining to the wrong Michelle why we had called, I was just like, this is bullshit.
I found this so incredibly hard, and I effing hated it so
and it was
much.
my idea, and shame on me. What a dumb idea.
Because my natural instinct is just to text. So some of the time I genuinely would forget that we were doing this, and I would just text, and then I'd be like, ugh. And eventually, I'm going to be honest, I gave up because I found it so inconvenient for my life, for my work. I hated it. I didn't even enjoy the more personal aspect. I didn't sit there being like, oh, but it was nice to catch up with everyone via phone. It provided me with zero joy. It just made me annoyed and agitated 100% of the time.
Because a 15-minute phone call could have been a 15-second text.
Yeah. Can I give you some examples of where I did do it properly?
Okay.
So my friend Sarah texted me at 7:30 a.m. and this was on one of the first days. So I was like, come on, do it, Lib. So she sent me a meme saying that you should wash your drink bottle every day because she once sucked up some mold into her mouth from her straw. So I just called her to be like, oh, that meme was really funny. Like I washed my cup straight away.
Yuck.
A cameraman.
Was she like, why the fuck are you calling me?
A cameraman we are using on a job coming up was in America, and I needed to contact him about a job. So I called him, and I forgot about international bloody calls. And it also disturbed him on a shoot. So he answered and he was like, oh, do you mind just texting me through that information?
Do you mind putting that in writing like every other normal fucking human?
Then
Seriously.
another camera guy we use and who I genuinely really love, but I would never like call on any personal level. It was his birthday and ordinarily I would just text him, but I called him and I could tell that he was like, this is so weird.
Like, my mum doesn't even call me. Why are you calling? You know?
I was doing a personal sort of photo shoot thing and the lady messaged me to just be like, oh, there's parks out the front and just text me through your coffee order.
Stop.
And so I called her and I was like, thanks so much for that. And my coffee is a cappuccino. Into which case she would have then had to like write that down.
Yeah, she should have said, can you just text me your order?
My final thing of that on a similar vein is a friend texts me to be like, oh, do you have a makeup artist recommendation? I'm coming down for the races. Do you mind like texting me through a couple of numbers? So I called her and then so she had to be like, oh, hang on, let me just put you on speaker so she could then write down the numbers. And you know how easy it is to just flick a number via text?
Oh, filth.
So all of these calls were just so highly annoying. Every single one of those was avoidable, was easier through text message, and took up so much more time than it needed to.
These things are invented for a reason. Because
totally.
there's something that needs to be done more effectively. For me, a restaurant booking, you can so easily do it online. I called up.
Yeah.
They're not open often. They're not open till 5 p.m. often. And so I had to keep calling. That was stupid.
And then you leave a voicemail and then they call you back at the most inconvenient times.
Or they don't call you back.
Yeah.
I made a brow appointment that I could so easily do online, but I called. And, you know, then they have to open up your file and you have to, what services do you have? Whereas everything just normally just comes up. Do you just want to book this same appointment again, you know, online? So that was annoying. The only benefit was deposits that I have to make online. Sometimes making appointments, you have to deposit a certain amount of money that you don't get back if you cancel. That was the only saving grace of the phone calls where you don't have to deposit the money. And so, yeah, I would get my money back if I cancel.
And can I also say, sometimes when you call, let's say a French restaurant, you actually can't understand what people are saying on the other end because they're talking French or they've got a strong Italian accent or whatever it is. So it's easier to book online.
I had, because we were also answering calls, and I would normally ignore all of these. And you know that someone will leave you a voicemail if it's important.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I get a missed call, I always call them back. But what you can do is normally it will go through, but it will go through to a, either it would go beep, beep, beep. So you know it's a scam.
Or it'll be like, hello.
Yeah.
My name
automated.
is...
Yeah. But also as well, you know, call centers or someone will pick up straight away and say, hello, I'm calling. Thank you for calling me back. I'm calling from the center of da-da-da. I'll be like, thank you so much. I'm not interested. Anyway, so I got a phone call from Adelaide numbers and they were looking for Peter, which is my dad's name, which was so weird. And they said, do I want a house valuation? And I was like, no, and this isn't Peter. That was weird. Sydney numbers, some energy company, which I normally would have ignored. But I would have called that Sydney number back and it would have gone through to some call centre and I would have been able to just get out of it really quickly.
Do you know what I also do in that case? I Google numbers a lot.
Yeah.
Like if I miss a call, I will then Google the number and often it will be like, you know, so-and-so brow bar. And I'll be like, oh, okay, that's my brow place or whatever.
Papua New Guinea and New Zealand, I get lots of calls from them. And those, when I called, it said, this number does not exist or this, and it will just go to a dial tone, something like that. So I always have someone calling me that's looking for Deborah.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon I was Deborah in another life. I reckon Deborah had my phone number in another life. I've had to tell so many people that it's not Deborah. So I had a few Deborah calls, which I would normally just ignore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
do you have weird, because for some weird reason, I prefer calling people in the car than when I'm just sitting at home on the couch. It's a weird thing. Not that it's any different.
I'll tell you why.
It could be the same time of day, but it's because you're doing two things at once.
You're killing two birds with one stone.
Yes, and I can be distracted by the driving, but also just have something distracting me from, because I hate driving. So it's weird. I only use AirPods if I'm at the gym or I'm walking home or something. Otherwise, I will just use my direct phone like on my ear.
Do you ever use speakerphone?
Never. Oh, the only time is if we're FaceTiming.
Oh my God.
When
our
it's
grandma
loud.
uses speakerphone all the time.
Yeah.
Mum sometimes does too, and it's very risky because Dad is sometimes there and it's often something Dad can't hear about how expensive something is or...
That's so true. Like even a couple of nights ago, I was like, oh, Mum, there's this thing in America that I think we should go to, but the tickets are $100. And I knew Dad would just categorically die if he knew that and he was standing
and
there.
Mum was like,
can't
hear you.
I'll call you back up.
Oh, it's just so. Never use speakerphone. It's dangerous. I'm telling you, never make calls in the car that you don't want other people to hear if you have other people in the car.
Yeah.
Like, just be smarter than you are with speakerphone. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like, Dee, our grandma, will be in Coles and answer on speakerphone, and the whole world just heard our conversation.
Yeah, because
Do you
I
know
could
what I
be
mean?
ringing her to be like, do you have any tips on vaginal thrush?
Yeah.
You know?
So I reflected across this time and realised how far we've come and also how lazy we
I
are.
was going to say, how far we've come in what?
Just in terms of technology.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
I thought you meant how far we've come in
no.
terms of how good we are.
No, and just can you imagine if we had to go back to the olden days of, we even had one of those hamburger phones that Irene off Home and Away used in the diner, just answering the landline. Yeah.
Bizarre. And calling a landline and not knowing who's going to answer out of the family.
And our parents would call the parents of other people we knew if we were going to a party to check it was okay. And often we weren't even invited. And like, you can avoid all that now because you don't even have people's numbers. And what about when a boy would have to call your house?
I don't think that ever happened to me. I didn't have that
It happened to
problem.
me once, and I just remember Mum was like, Eliza, Mark's on the phone, and I'd be like, oh, yuck. Like, I want to die. Like, I just remember being like, how did this gooby even get my phone call? So,
Oh, God.
even get my phone number. And I was just like, you
Jesus.
can't slink away from that. You can ignore it. I never ignore texts. I always reply, but you can ignore stuff better. But it's also facilitated worse manners that you can avoid calls. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. I feel like the only thing this has sort of taught me, and I guess, is there any changes I guess I want to make moving forward? No. In fact, call less and answer less calls.
No, it's reinstated how stupid calls are.
Yeah, and I just think both serve a purpose. I think if something's super urgent, you need an answer straight away. If you know, I don't know, if you need to have a detailed conversation that a text message can't convey, or you need to talk about something that you just know a text isn't going to get across in the right, manner, I think that's where it works. I think, if you don't want something to get misconstrued by a text, if you don't want something in writing, like if you don't want something written, then that's fine. But just text messages work when you're time poor. If you want to get something in writing, if you don't need an immediate response, if you want to reach multiple people at a time, like, yes, they're more impersonal, but I just think they're so much more comfortable for everyone involved.
We're going to become like our grandma where we get older and all these new technologies come through and we're going to be overwhelmed. And I don't want to ever get to that point.
I'm happy to stay where we are.
I'm already overwhelmed by the voice notes and the young people need to stop doing them. That's my feedback.
I hate voice notes. I do understand they're sort of like the middleman between both, because you can get across what you want to say without anything being misconstrued because it's being said. But then it's just highly inconvenient. I agree. They're shit.
It off. Oh my God. My voicemail is foul.
Oh.
I just hate like
Same.
we should not call. This is another reason calls just need to stop, because voicemails are awful. Our dad's voicemail is so bad that you think he's answering the phone. And so you start speaking to him. Yeah. But then he's not actually there.
He goes,
it's a voicemail.
it goes,
and then you're like, oh, hi, Dad. Yeah. And then he's like, I'm not actually here. And you're just like, oh, fuck. When will I learn this? Mine's something like, hey, guys, you know who it is. It's me.
Cool cats and kittens.
Oh, fuck. It's foul. But who can be bothered? Who even knows how to change a voicemail, to be honest?
Yeah.
I learn a lot about myself through this in terms of, though, my screen usage. Also, the fact that I never put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Like, you will even be watching a true crime documentary or a movie and you'll be like, Eliza, concentrate, put down your phone, because I won't absorb a lot of stuff.
Ask me 20 questions.
Yeah. But also as well, I've noticed that I get really agitated with people who've put their phones on Do Not Disturb and stuff. And I am someone that especially when I worked as a personal assistant, I answered every email, text, phone call even, 24/7, 7 days a week. And I'm still conditioned to do that. So I don't understand, calls I don't, obviously. Calls, now that I can choose to not answer calls, I obviously hate and don't answer. But availability-wise, I am still there on my phone, available 24/7.
But Do Not Disturb's only preventing phone calls from coming through. So what's the difference between not answering a call or putting your phone on Do Not Disturb? It just means your thing goes straight to voicemail and they have the opportunity to leave a voicemail.
So you know that people put their phones on Do Not Disturb at like 6 p.m. at night or whatever, so that they don't get bothered.
I'm very well aware of that.
Yeah. Why? Because your mum friends do it?
I've got I'll say my trainer
Yeah.
has his messages, and you know how it comes up and it says, so-and-so's notifications are silenced. So I just always know when I
Yes.
text him during that time, even though
Yeah.
he'll be like, oh, can you text me with to remind me of that? I'll do that, but then he'll never respond.
I don't understand any of that. I've realized my work-life balance is
Yeah.
really off because I'm someone that like I find it really interesting how people can just not answer on the weekend, like work-related questions or like after hours or emails
See,
or whatever. I am available 24/7.
But see, that's your choice.
And but I've realized I don't have a good work-life
Yeah.
balance because I've just been so aware with this challenge of what I answer and what I'm doing and how often I'm on things and etc. So I find it really interesting that people can shut off. They can do not disturb. They cannot just not reply to things.
But you view
out
that
of
as like
hours.
the wrong thing. I view that as like good on you for actually taking time to have some downtime because you're not getting paid to work
Yeah,
on.
well,
and also the nature of our jobs is such that it's 7 days a week.
Well, yes, but also so was my old normal full-time job. Like as a personal assistant,
not
you have
really.
I think that's why I did quite an exceptional job and I was very,
you were
very,
very,
good.
very
It was
good.
because I was always available. And yes, it's not really healthy, but I just have continued with that.
I know,
and
but you
so I get
begrudge-
frustrated
But you
with others.
begrudge people
Yeah.
for doing that,
Yeah.
which is not right.
So that's what I've learnt, that I need to have more tolerance
Yes.
of that. Okay.
and you need to have a bit more
Work-life
balance with
balance.
that. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so would you rather die or would you try again?
I'd rather die, categorically die.
I would 100% rather die. I feel like the world sort of idealizes this like extrovert sort of real-time communication. So it's easy to feel like you're, I don't know, when you're texting, it's like less than if you're making a phone call. But
I just feel like we all do it. Do you think people who just text judge?
I just think that
judged?
people think that phone calls are better and more effective and things like that. But I just think there's no
Do
right. I think so. I feel like there's no right way to connect. I think we need to embrace whatever mode of communication we want to, and you know whatever fits into our lifestyle. So I will continue texting nonstop and not answering your phone call. So if you try to call me and I don't answer, it's not because I'm busy. It's because I don't want to answer.
Yeah, I just think that what this has shown is that it's near impossible in this day and age just to do things via phone
God, yeah,
call.
absolutely.
And that it's just smarter to have things on the record.
Yep.
I do agree. You can't be like us, well, particularly me, who just has shut myself off completely.
Yeah.
I think it can become unhealthy, and I think I need to have more interactions with other humans. And
Just quickly, look what I'm getting, a phone call from Sydney.
Yeah,
New South
Sydney
Wales
called me
right
before. It
now,
could
and it
actually
will be something annoying.
Well, is it the same number? It could actually be quite important. Anyway, too bad. But I will call that back, and it will
Will
probably
you? See,
go
I
through to a
wouldn't.
voice.
Because I'm like, if you're not
centre.
going to leave a voicemail, or if they tried to call me back a second time, I would answer because I know that then
Right.
it's
No,
important. But
I'll at
anyway.
least call back. But anyway, I just think, I mean, it's a millennial thing that we
Yeah,
don't like phone
I
calls.
know.
I think our parents' generation really prefer calls.
But I think more people would be in association with us.
I
than
think
the other way around.
I agree. And I think work-life balance needs to be more of a thing. That's something that really hit me hard during this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also think it is a full-time job to keep up with your WhatsApps, your texts, your messengers. That's
is.
another thing that shone a light. Because if I'm like, if I was trying not to reply via those methods, I then had to now, well, when I finished it, catch up on
Yeah.
all of that. And it's stressful.
Yeah.
We're never switched off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's sad.
technology, I can't live with it, can't live without it.
Anyway, so rather die. Die.
God, things were simpler back in our
I
grandma's
know.
day and age, weren't they?
You just send something via owl or whatever.
yeah,
write a
but it
letter and
wasn't
send via
effective.
owl.
It just wasn't
Yeah.
effective.
All right, Try Hard Hall of Fame you've got for us this week, Eliza.
Message from an anonymous listener. Now, this lovely lady is empathising with the Hall of Famer from a few weeks ago. Remember how that girl admitted to a fluff in a reformer Pilates
That was
class?
one of the best.
But nobody said anything.
Yes.
It made her really uncomfortable. Well, this lass too farted in a reformer Pilates class.
Oh, there you go.
She started laughing in the hopes it would be a light-hearted, funny moment and others would join in, but it was complete
Oh my God.
silence. People need to do classes with us. We'd be ruffling.
What is wrong
rolling
with people?
on the floor laughing. She also added, this reminds me of the time I wet my pants at school when I was little. I told my teacher that I fell in a puddle and needed some spare clothes, which was embarrassing enough. But my mum made me go back to the principal and apologise for lying and admit to everyone I actually peed myself.
Why?
So much humiliation. I don't know. A lesson in telling the truth,
Oh
I guess.
my God, but that's humiliating.
I would have probably changed schools, to be fair. I get deeply embarrassed by things and can't move on from them. That's traumatic.
I find that really sad that she had to go back, and when it's like that would have been so hard for her to do and embarrassing.
If you want to be a Hall of Famer, send us a DM via Eliza and Liberty. We don't take phone calls. Let us know how you feel on this matter. I'm interested to know.
And look, as well, you're probably going to get across the line more with your Hall of Fame nomination if you're either giving us some grim gear off the back of our grim chats, or you give us an unbelievably wonderful review on one of the iSpotify, iApple, DM, etc. There's not really anything in between that's going to get you on the Hall of Fame.
We reward grim gear, grim gear, and suck ups.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Follow us on Instagram, Eliza and Liberty, and follow Try Before You Die wherever you get your potties. Bye.
Try before you die.